episode 3 of Anime and Us. I'm TJ.
And I'm Sean.
And this is the anime review show that reviews anime from A to Z. Sort of.
Last episode, we spun the wheel for letter A, and it gave us Accel World. Accel World was written by Reki Kawahara. Hopefully I'm not butchering that too much. The anime was adapted by Sunrise. Now, TJ, does Reki Kawahara ring any bells?
I have no idea who that is.
Well, remember before we watched it, or while we were watching it in the beginning, we were wondering what's with all these anime that are so similar to Sword Art Online. We did talk about that.
Yeah.
Well, Reki Kawahara wrote Accel World and Sword Art Online.
Oh, so this is a spiritual successor kind of thing? Or
Not even technically spiritual. So in episode 21, 22...
Oh, I do remember the Nerve Gear.
The Nerve Gear.
I thought that was weird seeing the Nerve Gear in
Yeah.
there, and I was like, huh, so is this later?
So, well, I did a little digging, right? So, in Sword Art Online, the Nerve Gear, the whole anime takes place in 2022, and the Nerve Gear is released.
I guess the Nerve Gear would be before, because this is all in your head, kind of.
And you can't walk around with it, so, it's an earlier version.
Wow, that is interesting.
Accel World takes place in 2046.
Huh.
And it goes even further. So in the manga for Accel World, chapter 18 to chapter 20, there's a crossover.
Which
Sword Art Online and Accel World.
Wow.
Now, I haven't read it yet, but I flipped through a couple of the images, and Kirito's in it. Kirito's in it. Kirito, thank you, is in it, and so is our main character.
That's like the only manga that I've actually read, the Sword
Art
Online. The first volume, anyway.
So, now, apparently, Reki Kawahara, still butchering that name, tweeted that it's not confirmed that they're in the same world, but I think it's pretty clear that it really is.
Well, and now it makes sense with the weird relationships and stuff that happen in this same style and everything.
Very similar.
Because there were some parts of Sword Art Online that was really confusing, and we'll get to it in this one, but so there was some stuff really confusing in this, too. So, yeah, wow, that is really interesting.
Alright, well, maybe that's just a little tidbit thrown out there. Not everyone would know that.
No, I didn't know it, but then again, I don't know much of anything, so...
Alright, so, down to the review for Accel World. The whole premise of it, how did you feel about that?
Well, I wanted to like it.
Yeah?
I really did, because it's actually pretty well written, and I'm not really a fan of the premise myself, but that's a personal thing. Objectively, it's actually not bad, but there's just 4 glaring flaws with it for me that brought it from a good anime to I can't bring myself to like it. I wanted to.
I felt like it could have been an 8 or a 9 out of 10 if it wasn't for some of the glaring flaws that I noticed too.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even say it's a good one, honestly, because of the flaws.
If it wasn't for those flaws, I would put it at an 8 or 9. But because of those, which we'll talk about, my number for it's going to be around 5 or 6.
I mean, it's better than the last one we reviewed, but...
Well, I mean, a pile of dog shit's better than that.
So, but yeah...
Well, let's start off with the bad stuff then, and then we'll end it on a good note. So what don't you like about the anime?
Well, the biggest flaw is the main character.
Yeah.
I mean...
I have to agree.
Hold on, I got his name written down. Hiroruki? Is that his name?
Something like that.
I think they call him Haru.
Yeah, they call him Haru.
Haruki Arif is his last name, apparently.
With the Japanese, they always shorten down names for friends.
Right. But, I mean, yeah, so... Explain why this happened, this character?
So, right in the beginning, the first episode, you meet him. He's in a classroom, and everyone looks perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Nicely drawn students. And then you see this...
they all are drawn kind of similar. There's not
most of the people in that class are background characters. So.
Well, yeah, no, I get that. But, I mean, if they were, like, different sizes and shapes, his design wouldn't be so...
Yeah, so all the students, everyone drawn in the anime itself are pretty similar in size.
Right.
He is not. He's probably half their size. He probably comes up to their waist.
All the girls are attractive and wearing skirts and stuff like that. But,
And, anyway, he's like half the size of everyone else height-wise, but then like 3 times the weight. He's very fat. Now, I get why they're doing it. One, comic relief.
Oh, then you know what? That brings up a flaw that I didn't even have written down. The whole fat thing is not needed throughout the whole thing, because they use it as like a character flaw like twice throughout the whole thing, and of him dealing. He's a defeatist and a crybaby throughout the whole series.
Yeah,
but
they didn't need to make him fat because of that. He already had flaws.
Not even that, but they didn't even use the fat. They call him a fat ass like twice throughout the whole thing. They pretty much use the fat thing as a joke throughout because he's always got food.
Well, I mean, again, comedic relief.
But,
but you shouldn't, like you said once before the podcast, that shouldn't be the main character. The main character should not be comedic relief.
No, he's definitely he's a comic relief main character, which is really weird. And it's like they could have just made him look weird or something, and him being fat adds nothing to the story. Is what I'm saying. And so, I mean, like it's actually an interesting idea to have a fat main character because it's not.
They could have kept him fat, but make him the same height. They could have kept him short, but not make him fat. Right. They were doing too much of it, especially with his personality flaws.
It's just it didn't add anything, so it just felt like it was like we're putting a fat person in here because there's not fat people.
And he honestly almost looked like a middle schooler compared to the high schoolers at first. We didn't quite understand in the beginning whether or not he was in the same class.
He looked like he was 10. And it gets weird at points. Really, really weird.
Second episode, or was it the first when he's nearly on top of his friend? Not his girlfriend, his friend that's a girl. I forget her name.
Oh.
Right? No, Chishi, that's her name.
Chiyu.
Sorry.
Chiri Kurashina is the female best friend. He has two best friends. Her and Takumo Mizuyuki, or Taku. Honestly, the names that you're really going to remember are the names in the other names they get. We'll get to that. But,
yes.
But yeah, the main character is just so bad. And which brings me to the second major flaw. The girlfriend. The relationship with him and the girlfriend. Her name is...
Chiyu? Or his master?
No, the master. I can't pronounce that.
What are you going to
Yukihime.
We'll just call her Hime.
I don't think that was her.
Fine.
I think it was Yuki.
Yeah, fine, Yuki. That's what we're calling her.
Well, I'm going to start referring them to the names they use later. Because
Black Lotus. Yeah. Her name is Black Lotus. The main character is Silver Crow.
Silver Crow. Taku is Cyan Pile. And Chiru is... Lime Bell. Yes.
Alright. So, what's that second glaring flaw?
The relationship between Silver Crow and Black Lotus. Because it seems like they're boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yeah, but it's never confirmed, and it's just weird.
It's not even that, and she even like admits his love for her, or she's like this attractive, popular girl, in love with the 5-year-old fat kid. So it's kind of strange in that regard, but. It's like they act like boyfriend and girlfriend, and there's a point where she's in a bikini showing him in a video and stuff like that.
Yeah, very odd.
When they interact, and it starts to and he starts to say something like along the line of boyfriend at the end, it almost sounds like a proposal, and they act all like, no, it's not like that. So I don't know if they're actually in a relationship or not, or if it's what the hell's going on.
One of those unwritten things. I don't think they're actually in a relationship.
It's like they're like boyfriend and girlfriend without none of the physicality.
Oh, I would have been okay with that if there was some sort of resolution at the end, and they never had a resolution.
Oh, and it's
okay to have, these issues, especially with teenagers, but there needs to be a resolution by the end of the anime.
That's the third problem with it. It was not a satisfying ending.
Well, it's not supposed to be an ending. The manga goes on for much, much longer. So there's supposed to be a second season. It hasn't been confirmed if they're making one, but it also hasn't been confirmed that they're not making it.
When was this one made?
2014.
Oh, so
is when it released in English.
I thought it was 2010 when this was made.
It's been a little while, but Reki Kawahara is very slow with updating his mangas.
Okay.
Like very, very slow. So they couldn't make the second season yet. But now it finished, I think, last year, 2017, I believe it finished. So they might make a second season soon.
Oh, okay.
But yes, I agree. It was very confusing at the end, not knowing that because we knew there wasn't a second season.
Right.
So we thought it was just a complete series, 24 episodes.
Yeah, so when I got to episode 20, I'm like, this isn't winding down for a season arc.
They built up from the first 10-ish episodes, killing the kings, reaching level 10.
And then they just dropped that storyline out of nowhere.
So that was very, very odd that they didn't continue with the story they had built. They went in a complete different direction. I didn't like that at all.
No, and
have a coherent story, go for it. You can have subplots, and side plots, but they built up a huge plot, which is killing the kings, reaching level 10, meeting the game maker, And then they just left it off. Who gives a fuck?
And that's the really sad part of this, is that the side stories were actually more interesting.
Yes and no. So the side story, late game, or late anime, I should say.
Honestly, my favorite 2 episodes are the 2 with Black Lotus, where he's not even in
the
it.
beach?
Yeah.
Oh, I hated those.
They're my
polar opposites right now.
I hate it.
I like her more as a character, but that was complete fluff and filler, and the only thing that was useful out of there was getting the harness that she used for 10 seconds.
That's why I liked it, because it was just the main character just threw me off so much, and I was just welcoming this change in main character. If the focus was on her the whole time, I think the series would have been 10 times better.
I think I agree with you on that, but the filler, the 2 episodes of filler, that didn't do anything for me at all.
I get why they were doing it. It was because obviously they needed more. Had more to say, and she's been gone for like how many episodes?
It was a bunch, but in game it was 5 days altogether.
Yeah, but
in anime,
and
I say game
it's like 10 episodes she's going on this trip, and she's not even in it. She's barely in it. So I get why.
So about while she's gone the whole time, right? So she's gone the whole time, and they've got their adversary. They need to beat. What's his name? I don't remember his name.
I got it written down. It is Seiji Nomi.
Oh, that's Dusttaker. Dusttaker.
Yeah, Seiji Nomi Dusttaker.
So the whole time they're fighting him, she's gone. She's gone for like 5 days in another part of Japan.
Before we get into this, we should probably explain what the rest of the premise of the show is.
All right, let's do that.
We didn't even get into
we just started going on tangents.
We didn't even get into the burst limit thing. So, apparently the main character, Silver Crow, is not Silver Crow at this point. When we first introduced him, he's really good at video games, and then he's so fast at this, and so Black Lotus takes an interest in him and introduces him to this game that no one else knows what it is. Burst Limit.
Burst Limit.
Burst Limit. That's the game.
No, Burst Limit's the name of the game.
Okay. Well, I forget why it's only certain people.
So only certain people can play it because you have to be wearing, what's the thing around their neck that's called?
I don't know. It's some technology thing that grants like VR almost.
Yes.
It's augmented reality.
Pretty much. Well, it hangs around their neck. Now, you can only install Burst Limit if you meet a couple requirements. One of them is that you have to be wearing that since the day you were born. Which is, I guess, a lot of the... Well, it's only been out for 15 or 16 years.
And I guess that's a common thing now, that they just install it in a child?
A lot of... Well, it's not really an install, it just kind of hangs around your neck. I don't think it's actually a part of your skin, because there's a couple scenes where people don't have it on, and there's, like, tan lines.
Okay, but so what, they just slap it on a child, a baby? Right from
the apparently. I don't know, I mean, maybe... there could be a lot of other implications that could be used for that, like, it could filter out certain things. Let's say you're walking down the road, and this isn't in the anime, by the way. This is all headcanon. Let's say you're walking down the road and, I don't know, there's a dog mauling someone to death.
Oh, I guess,
you know what I mean? That could blur that out so your kid doesn't see that. Like, there's a bunch of...
I know that I remember that they did, when she got in the car accident, they used it to show her vitals and stuff.
Yes, there's a ton of things you can do with it.
Okay.
You can monitor a baby while, she'd sleep in 2 rooms away.
Well, anyway, Burst Limit's a fighting game.
Yes.
So, what it comes down to, and it's not a same fighting game, Burst Limit gives you the ability to slow down time, from what I understand.
So it explains it in the beginning, almost like it slows down time, but it doesn't. What it does is, it lets your heart pump faster. More blood's going to the brain, which makes your thought speed up 1,000 times.
Okay.
So you're thinking faster.
See, all the technology...
Time still goes the same, but you're thinking faster. Yeah. And in the game world, you're thinking in the game world. It's like a full dive technology. So the game world's happening, I think 1 minute or 17 minutes is 1 minute in real time, is what they explained it.
The technology is a little convoluted, but...
Yeah, it's very convoluted. But it's roughly, it doesn't slow down time, it just speeds up
your thought process. It's hard to follow if you're not paying attention, to be honest with you.
It's very hard to follow, but continuity-wise.
Anyway, you get burst point. The point of the game is you have burst points, and they allow, every time you use a burst point, you use a burst point to slow down time.
A single burst point to... pause time, but you're not really pausing, you're just speeding up your thoughts.
Right.
So everything's stuck still, and you can...
analyze.
So if someone's throwing something at you, you can pause time, or speed up your thoughts for a few seconds, and you see it coming, so now you can think about what you want to do for reaction-wise. You burst out of it, and now you're like, oh, dodge left.
Right. And there's other applications, they get into later, you can use different skills and stuff like that eventually. The higher, because it's based on levels, and the higher level you get, the higher...
The more abilities you have that have implications in real life.
Yeah. And there's apparently only... You can only get to level 9. There's supposedly at level 10, and that's the goal of the game, essentially. But then
no one's reached it yet?
No one's reached it, because only 6 or 7 people made it to level 9.
Well, 7, I believe, made it to level 9. To get to level 10, you have to beat... I believe 6 or 7 level 9s, but if you lose a fight with a level 9,
you're done.
You lose the game forever. It auto uninstalls, and you can never install it again.
And you lose the game forever if you don't. You get points by winning fights in it.
You spend them by using your burst limit in real life.
And you gain points by winning fights, but you also lose them for losing fights, and if you go down to 0, the game automatically uninstalls, and judging by the ending, you lose your memory of the game and everything else.
Yeah, apparently. So they didn't explain that in the beginning.
No.
They should have. There's a lot of explaining they should have done in the first 2 episodes that they didn't do.
Yeah, so it's kind of like almost invasive.
So the premise of it, everything that we just explained, is absolutely fantastic, actually. I like it a lot. They just fuck it so hard.
I like the premise to a certain extent. I don't like that it's kind of pigeonholed into just a fighting game, though. It seems like it's okay. It's just the same thing over and over again.
Well, it's a fighting game, but you use it so, like, maybe you want to be really good at sports. Or,
no.
You know what I mean? You use it for that. It's real life implications.
No, I get that. It's just storytelling wise, it just felt from a literary point of view like the same. You're just watching a fight, and there's no tension, like no one can die. Yeah.
I mean, you never know. Maybe in the when eventually they make a second season, hopefully that does happen. Maybe that's in there. We haven't read the manga, so we don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like it just felt like if maybe they like at one point they explained there's monsters you can kill to get burst points.
Yeah, but they're very little points.
So if they added like a few more RPG elements into it,
yeah, it could definitely be more interesting.
It would have been more interesting for me because it just felt like to me, okay, there are fights. Some of them are in groups. It's like playing an online game or something at this point. Then I've never been into the online multiplayer kind of stuff, and it kind of just seemed kind of boring to me a little bit.
Well, again, no real. But there's no real consequence because the only consequence is that you lose the game.
But this is only my personal opinion. It's my personal preference. Objectively,
actual tension would have been nice. Yeah. I can agree with you on that.
So I mean. And it got kind of a little tense towards the end, but like if it would have meant more if they said you're gonna kill me, and then the person dies, but then they respawn in like an hour. So it's like
it takes an hour.
Okay, he died. Oh, ooh.
Yeah, it did seem a little odd with some of the fights.
It felt like it was a typical anime, But
as far as the video game fights go, because it is a video game, you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose, but then you lose, and then you come right back.
I know.
I feel like the only tension that would be there is if you're low on points.
That's what I was trying to get at. It's trying to be an anime where people die without the actual dying part. And that's what kind of... It was like, eh.
Anyway, so what is your third?
I discussed the third. It was the ending.
Oh, okay. What's the fourth?
The fourth was... It just didn't leave an impact on me. Like, I have all the names written down in front of me. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't tell you for the life of me what their names were beforehand. So it left really no impression with me. After the last crap one, at least I knew some of their names because I was so angry at it. Mm-hmm. This is kind of even worse in that respect because it was just kind of,
So I have 2 big issues with it that we already haven't discussed. The first one is, in the first couple episodes, the first episode itself, they give you a bunch of rules and everything. And I like rules. I like clear rules. This is how things work.
Okay, I had a
and then they retcon a lot of things, which is kind of, I don't like that. So, but anyway, so in the beginning, after he gets his avatar and he's fighting, his special movement is a headbutt. And you can build points and eventually buy extra moves and stuff.
He only used a headbutt like one time.
He only used it once, actually.
Huh.
One time.
But
that's not my issue.
Oh, by the way, in the virtual world that is not burst limit, his avatar is a pig.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid.
So, it just show you where the fat stuff comes in. That's about the extent of it.
So he's got punch and kick and headbutt. Headbutt's his special move. He hasn't leveled up yet. And he's actually lost points because he lost his first fight. And in his second fight...
He lost to a Kirsten motorcycle skull guy.
Yes. In his second fight, he wins. Same level, so he gets 10 points. That's the only time they explain how many points you get for a fight,
Uh-huh.
is if it's the same level as 10 at level 1. Who knows if it's
Well,
different at
and
lower
later
levels.
they explain if you're like 4 combined, like in the tag team matches, if you're like the one with the bodyguard.
Mhm.
Well, I think her name was
Bouncer. Just her name's Bouncer.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. It was. I have it written down. Hold on. Aqua Current.
There you go. But she's a bouncer.
Yeah, she was a bouncer. Akira Hima is her name, and they explain she helps first levels. She never levels up, so she helps first levels. But the way she's able to do that is if their tag team's combined level is higher than like 6 levels, they don't lose points.
Mhm.
So that's how they. So they do explain it a little bit.
Back to my point.
Sorry.
So he has punching and kicking and headbutting. He's level 1. Once you level up, you have the option to buy another special move or something. But before he does that, somehow he just gets this ability to fly. And they never explain why you can just gain abilities without spending points. It was so frustrating for random things to just start happening right after they laid down all these very clear-cut rules that I very much enjoyed. And like, oh, well, we're just going to do this now.
Oh yeah,
That suits what we want.
And you have to buy your level ups, which is stupid too.
It is, but I do think it works because you have the ability to go straight to level 2, and I think it costs 100 points, 200 points?
300.
300 points.
Because he had 308 points and he almost got eliminated.
Yeah, he didn't know that if he leveled up, it took those points. So he did, it added a little bit of tension. It's only going to add tension one time, because once you do it, you know not to do that again. You know to wait till you have enough points.
Exactly.
But, it was whatever. It was fine.
And at this point, he's the main character. It's like the second episode. He's the main character. He's not going to lose it for eternity.
Not in the second or third episode. It's not going to happen.
So it's kind of lame in that respect.
It's hard to build tension for the main character in that aspect so early. It's not Game of Thrones. We're not killing the main character off in the beginning. Very few stories in general, whether it's books, and whatever, it doesn't matter. Very few stories in general ever do that.
Okay.
So I don't expect that to happen.
Right. And all right, what's your second problem?
Oh, so my second problem is I was touching on it earlier. So the whole arc with Dust Taker. Dust Taker's fighting them, and Black Lotus is off in another part of Japan.
Right, on her own side quest.
Yeah, so she's far away, and technically she could join them and fight, but the main character, Silver Crow, doesn't want her to. He wants to prove himself.
Oh, that pissed me off so.
Well, which is fine. You want to prove yourself. I get it.
I know, but it was almost being stupid for being stupid. Because
yes, at a certain point you should realize you need help and give her a call.
They even mentioned it in the last episode that the girl best friend Lime Bell had his call in Black Lotus because they were being stupid.
Well,
I'm sorry.
My issue.
Interrupt you.
Every time I have an issue. Anyway, so my issue is that the whole it was like almost 10 episodes.
Yeah.
Silver Crow is like, oh, I can't call Black Lotus. I want to do this on my own. I want to prove it to her that I'm strong and I could do this. And then at the very end, Cyan Pile, which is his buddy Taku, would have died if she didn't show up. Dust Taker was slicing down on his head. He had almost no hit points. They wouldn't have been able to do it without her. So he is weak. And it's just, like, you're building it up for him to be, this is just bad storytelling in my opinion. You're building up the story for him to overcome this big hurdle, and he's gonna get stronger, and he's gonna do what it takes, he has the fortitude, and then he doesn't.
That's because he's not the main character of the story.
Well, he is.
He's
just not our favorite character of the story.
No, the story isn't even really about him. It's about Black Lotus.
The story follows Black Lotus, but it's about him helping Black Lotus.
Yeah, but she's still the main character.
She's what's furthering the plot.
Yeah, she is the main character.
He is the main character, but she's what's furthering the plot.
Did you ever play Final Fantasy X?
Yeah, of course.
Titus is not the main character of that story.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Other aspects of the game are furthering the plot, but he's the main character.
No, that's Yuna's story. It's not Titus's story. Let's be real here.
Alright, back to the anime. So, those are our, unless you have anything else, those are our huge, big gripes about it. I really did like the premise of it, the video game.
I just want to mention real quick, Taku is the male best friend and of him, because we barely brought him up. And his name was Cyan Pile in the thing. And whereas the girl he has 2 best friends.
Chiyu and Taku.
And of course the 2 best friends are dating each other in the beginning, and that causes tension. And the other girl throws herself at her at one at him at one point, which came out of nowhere.
She takes her shirt off and
and he walks.
Really odd.
There was a whole plot point where he ended up in the woman shower, and she's up on them naked.
And, like, all these things are fine. I don't mind nudity. I don't mind sex. But just throwing things in there randomly for the sake of doing it to get people to continue to watch your series because, oh, look, boobies. Yeah, it's bad storytelling. I'm sorry.
And it's not even in there long enough to really justify it. You could have tucked that whole scene out and just... Yeah,
all of them could have just not been there.
There's even, like, transformation scenes, like Sailor Moon.
Oh, right. I can't believe I almost forgot that.
Sailor Moon.
I hate that. That's just to fill time.
And when they're in their avatars, and their fighting avatars, anytime they show the actual person within, they're always naked. They don't show anything.
It's just so weird.
Yeah, they're always naked. There's at one point, at the very last episode, he's flying up to kill Cyan Pile, and then the two girls are completely naked over here for some reason.
Yeah.
One's Black Lotus, the other one we didn't...
It makes no sense.
The other one we didn't mention...
Blind Bell.
No. The other one was...
The Red King?
No. It was... Where is her... I'm sorry. This is ridiculous that I don't have this ready. Skyraker. The girl in the wheelchair.
Oh, right. Black Lotus's mentor, protege. They didn't quite tell exactly the relationship, but they were friends.
Well, another story plot is that Dust Taker has the ability to steal powers, so he takes
Silver Crow's
wings. And she gives Moonraker, Skyraker, whatever it was, gives him pretty much a jetpack, so he can fly again, which is
so weird because at the beginning of the show when he gets his wings, you're the first one to ever fly. Yeah. Well, I mean, not really, considering there was another character that had a jetpack.
Yeah, but they said she could only jump really high with it.
You could fly with it, just not for very long.
Yeah, I know. But that's what their excuse was. She wasn't actually flying. It was jumping.
It was odd.
Jumping really high.
It was very odd.
So he loses his wings, and it then doesn't even become a problem after a while. And he gets his wings back, of course, eventually. Anyway,
well, I'm fine with getting his wings back, but yeah, it should have been more of him having a struggle to get it back and not use a power from someone else.
Actually, and the Skyraker story would have been interesting to see because she went insane trying to learn how to fly. So. She was actually...
To the point where she cut her legs off.
No, she had Black Lotus cut her legs off because she wanted...
Well, I'm confused, which is fine, right? That would have been very interesting to see, for sure. I'm confused as to why she still has her legs chopped off.
Yeah,
when you reload your character, you have your arms and everything back. Everything's back.
Yeah, but I think they explained it because her special ability was jumping, apparently.
Yeah, well, which is fine.
No. And I think her legs became a piece of equipment, because there's equipment in this,
Yeah.
And she had them chopped it off and pretty much asked Black Lotus to take them, essentially. They kind of explained it. I mean,
buy more fucking legs. Come on.
I'm not arguing with you.
Why even be in the game if you're just being in a wheelchair the whole time? You can't fight.
Yeah, I know. It was weird. She's just hanging in there up in that little plateau for no reason.
Yeah.
I'm going to burst in for no reason.
Just spend days and days in here. Minutes in real life.
You find out in real life she has artificial legs.
That was interesting.
So, I mean, which was different. So, but we should talk about the other character that didn't even come up, the Red King.
Yes, the Red King.
Which is Yuniko Kozui, Scarlet Rain.
Scarlet Rain. Just going to call her Red King from now on.
Yeah, she just shows up in Silver Crow's house. One episode.
I mean, they explained it, but not really. It didn't quite make sense. In real life, it would never work.
She walked in and called him Big Brother. Wait, he has a sister now? No, he doesn't have a sister. She apparently hacked into something and his mom thought it was a family relative.
Yeah, somehow she hacked it, I guess, through the email system, didn't quite say. Yeah. And his mother, who's away on business, thought that she's a relative of some sort, so she gave him an instance key. I guess that's like an electronic key that lets you in the house. They didn't explain it. I assume that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it sounded like. It opened all the doors, too, for some reason, in the house. Even his bedroom and stuff. Mm-hmm. So, and of course, she throws herself at him at one point, too.
There are a few funny points in the series that are great. Like, there are real comedic relief. Like, he had a hidden porn stash. They never show you, just told you where it was.
Right.
And she goes, don't worry, I let that stay hidden. Like, that right there, that's great. That's comedy gold.
Well,
I loved it.
The thing about her is, we didn't explain her personality. She starts off playing like this innocent girl.
Sweet little girl.
And she's like, tell me about your other world, like trying to manipulate him. And then when he figures out she's not who she says she is. She starts cursing up a storm and and she's apparently the Red King, the second Red King, because the first one got killed by Black Lotus in the original thing. So, and it's this general typical ensemble kind of anime. Eventually, you get more characters as you go along. Mm-hmm. Although they were introducing characters almost up to the end. So
yeah, which is a little odd. So what's kind of interesting, the Red King's helper, I guess lieutenant. We'll just call her her lieutenant. She's in a maid outfit with on a red motorcycle.
Her name is Miha Kaiki, and she is actually called Blood Leopard.
Blood Leopard. So she's a big part in a couple episodes towards the end of the show. But if you remember, in the first few episodes, you see her on her motorcycle, just as in the background. No, you know what I mean. So that level of depth, I love.
Oh, I didn't notice. I didn't notice she's in all the intros. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't even know who this character is.
Bouncer, I forget her name. The Bouncer was also in there, and which was odd because she was in it for 2 or 3 episodes, and that was it. You never saw her again.
It was one.
One episode. Sorry.
Yeah.
And you just never saw her again. So it was odd to have her in the intro when she really wasn't that important.
Yeah, it was Aqua Current, her name, by the way. So yeah, I just want to quickly go over. Silver Crow can fly, essentially. Black Lotus has knives, I guess is hers.
For limbs.
Yeah, knives.
Her legs are knives, her arms are knives.
Taku, or Cyan Pile, pretty much has a pile driver.
That was pretty cool. I actually really like his avatar. It just sucks that he sucks.
Yeah, I was right about him being the bad guy in the beginning, though. Mm-hmm. They kind of turned it all around, but yeah, he's the best friend, and in the 3rd episode, he turns out to be a bad guy. The bad guy hunting down the Black King. And of course, they make up and he becomes part of the team. Mm. And at the end, he gets a giant sword, so.
That sword's pretty bad.
Because he's a kendo. He was a kendo guy, right? So
he was using the speed up his consciousness burst.
To win kendo tournaments.
Yes.
And then there is the female best friend who doesn't become a burst linker to the very end. Chiyu. She's Lime Bell, and we thought it was healing ability, but apparently she reverses time.
Yes, which is a shitty retcon.
Yeah, because that's how he gets his wings back. She decides to join up. The bad guys at the end pretty much blackmails them both, and he even applies rape and stuff to her.
Yeah, that was odd.
It was a little weird, but he thinks he's getting healed by her. She teams up with him because we assume because of the blackmail, and it's a big riff for the rest of the series. Mm-hmm. And then at the last battle, she heals him again for the last time, and the wings disappear. And all of a sudden, she went back far enough in time that
Silver Crow got the wings back.
So essentially, her power was to get his power back.
And I just don't like that kind of storytelling because you very clearly told me one thing, and then you just decided to change it to fit the story's needs later on.
Well, what I didn't understand is, I get how a healer would be beneficial, but there was no healers in the other thing. I mean, they said...
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 other healers they said are in the world.
They said that
you never met them.
There was 2. Yeah. And I don't even think they're still around.
Yeah, probably not.
And it just felt like they just decided, we should add her as a healer at some point, at halfway through. And I was like, that's kind of lame.
Yeah.
And there's the 7 kings. We only get introduced to 3 of them.
Red, yellow.
Yeah, because yellow was Yellow Radio. I have him.
Black Lotus is technically a king.
Black Lotus was the king, and Scarlet Rain was the 3rd Red King. Mm. But I don't think we even see because that was disappointing in itself too because. Like you said in the beginning, they were building up to the kings, and we thought that was going to be the story.
Because you want to meet the developers, you want to see what the end game is.
So we don't even see their legions because all the groups are split up into color legions, and they're fighting for territories and stuff. And you don't even really get into anything else. You get this rogue group out of nowhere that seems like a 3rd season kind of thing you would do after you exhausted your original premise, and it's just weird.
Yeah, it's definitely very odd. Hopefully they do make another season continuing that. Because this show does have some merit. I do like the basic premise.
Like I said, the ending was unsatisfied, but I kind of wanted more.
Yeah. So I do like the basic premise. I like all the characters except for
the main character.
Except for the main character. He's just a crying little bitch.
Yeah. My favorite part was the side quests.
Everyone has more development. Everyone has more depth than he does.
Oh, yeah, because he's just a crybaby. The fetus, every episode he's crying and saying, I can't do this, and then at the end of the episode, I can do it. He contradicts himself in every fucking episode. Everyone! He contradicts himself. And it's annoying.
Alright, so overall, I'm going to give it a 5.5 out of 10.
I'm just going to stick to my thing is it's either bad, medium, or good.
I like how we're going to have different rating systems.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. Let's go with it.
Yeah. So, and I got to go with bad.
Yeah?
It's
The bottom end of it?
No, it's high bad.
High bad? Okay.
It's not 801TT Aris bad.
High bad is like 4. TJ's giving it a 4.
No, I'm not. It's high bad. But, I honestly said, don't waste your time. Watch Sword Art Online.
Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely a better video game.
Right. Or no,
anime.
Better yet, watch Dot Hack.
Dot Hack, there you go. That's a better one for sure.
Yeah. Alright, I guess that's it. We're gonna spin the wheel for the letter B and see what comes up.
Alright, let's see what's next episode. Blue Gender! Yes!
I don't know what it is.
Blue Gender was on Toonami years and years ago. I'm not gonna give anything away. I want you to watch it on your own blind, but it was very good. I liked it a lot.
Alright.
TJ and Sean, signing off.
Your stupid radio outro.